Okay, so you know when a name just keeps popping up? Lately, well, for me anyway, it's been Gemma Collins.
Oh, yeah. Did you see?
Exactly. From, like, I'm claustrophobic, Darren,
Yeah.
on TOE, which feels like ages ago now, to just being the GC. She's always interesting.
Definitely.
And right now, a lot of the chat, is about her recent transformation, her weight loss.
Right. It's been quite visible.
Totally. So for this deep dive, we thought we'd look beyond the usual headlines. We've gathered the key info, her career, the sort of ups and downs of her weight journey, the actual methods, bit of personal life, what she's doing now.
Yeah, trying to piece it all together.
Exactly. Our mission, if you like, is to really understand this transformation, look at the approaches she's talked about, and importantly, consider the wider context, especially, her dealing with PCOS.
Yeah, that's a crucial piece of the puzzle, isn't it? Because she's been such a fixture in UK pop culture for what, over a decade now?
Easily.
So when someone that visible changes so much, it naturally gets people talking. Lots of questions.
Absolutely. So maybe for anyone less familiar, let's do a quick recap. Who is Gemma Collins?
Good idea. Born Romford, 1981. Came from like a working class background. Her first thing was actually fashion retail, remember?
Oh yeah, Belle Boutique for plus-size clothes.
That's the one. But the big break, the thing everyone remembers, was joining The Only Way is Essex TOE back in 2011.
And that claustrophobic Darren moment, iconic. It just sort of perfectly captured her, didn't it?
It really did. That mix of being totally over the top, but also somehow relatable, that's been her thing.
Yeah. And since then, loads of stuff. Celebrity Big Brother.
Yep, came fifth, I think. Then her own show, Diva Forever. That was quite revealing.
It was. And she wrote a book, The GC, How to Be a Diva. Got her podcast.
Yep.
She's built a whole empire, really.
She really has a proper media presence.
And the whole GC thing itself, it's more than just initials, isn't it? It's like this whole attitude.
Completely. That goddess of wealth,
Yeah.
super confident, unapologetic vibe.
She's a meme machine.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't the GC's Tuesday. You just hear her voice saying it.
Hmm.
It's brilliant personal branding, actually.
Masterclass, yeah. Taking control of her narrative. So when we look at the weight loss side of things, the info we've got shows it's been, well, a bit of a roller coaster.
Definitely not straightforward. The sources mention a lot of yo-yo dieting, especially in those early 280 years, at
Yeah.
the 2010s.
Right, the classic reality TV cycle almost.
Trying the juice cleanses, keto.
Mm-hmm.
She's been pretty open about struggling with emotional eating, too. I think a lot of people get that.
Yeah, very relatable. But then things seem to shift around, 2020 to 2023. That's when the medical side comes in more.
Yeah, that seems to be the turning point in the timeline we have.
Exactly. So 2022 looks key. That's when she reportedly started using Mounjaro.
Which is that weekly injection, Deer's appetite.
Yep. And crucially, our sources link this directly to her PCOS diagnosis and the weight gain associated with that. It wasn't just, for cosmetic reasons, apparently.
And the results were pretty dramatic.
Seems so. Reports mention 3 stone, which is, 42 pounds? In about 6 months.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and as you'd expect, that got a lot of attention. Good and bad. Praise and criticism, too.
Right, so where does that leave her now, like 2024, heading into 2025?
The info suggests she's now maintaining a UK size 14, and she's putting it down to, a more balanced approach overall, not just the medication.
Okay, so let's dig into those methods then. Mounjaro first. What actually is it?
Okay, so Mounjaro, the technical term is a GLP-1 agonist, but basically it mimics a hormone your body naturally makes.
Right.
And that hormone helps you feel less hungry, helps control your blood sugar. It's mainly for type 2 diabetes, but it's proven very effective for weight loss too. That's why it's talked about so much.
Yeah, and it's not cheap, is it?
No. The sources say around 200 to 300 pounds a month, and you need a private prescription, so it's a significant cost.
Yeah, there's side effects.
She's mentioned them, things like nausea, feeling tired, but she's also quoted as saying for her, it was worth it.
That definitely raises questions about access,
Yeah.
Not everyone can afford that or get it prescribed.
Absolutely, a big factor. Now, alongside the Mounjaro, there were inevitably rumors about surgery.
Always happens, doesn't it? What's the story there?
Well, Gemma herself has flatly denied having major weight loss surgery like a gastric sleeve. She's been very clear on that.
Okay.
But she has talked about using non-invasive treatments. Cool sculpting is mentioned specifically.
Ah, right. That's the fat freezing thing.
Exactly. It targets specific fat pockets, but it's not surgery. Very different.
Okay. So medication, some non-invasive stuff. But what about the old-fashioned diet and exercise? Is that part of the picture too?
Looks like it, yeah. The information suggests she's really incorporated lifestyle changes now.
Like what kind of things?
Well, diet-wise, it mentions meals like grilled chicken, lots of leafy greens, quinoa. Sounds like a pretty standard, healthy eating approach.
Right.
Protein, complex carbs.
Right. Sustainable stuff.
Seems to be the aim. And exercise 3 times a week, Pilates is mentioned, plus hydrotherapy or swimming.
Oh, hydrotherapy. Interesting.
Okay.
Lower impact.
Exactly. Often good if you have joint issues or just want something gentler. So it points towards a more kind of holistic strategy now, not relying only on the injections.
And the visual change is pretty stark, isn't it? When you think back.
Oh, definitely. The sources paint that picture clearly. From, say, a reported size 24 around 2015 during Diva Forever.
Yeah, I remember that.
To now, wearing figure-hugging stuff in a size 14. It's a big shift.
And it's not just the size, is it? The hair transformation, too. Dark brunette to, platinum blonde extensions.
Yeah, the sources even connect that to this whole idea of her reinventing herself. That visual change can be really powerful for people, especially someone so public.
Like marking a new chapter.
Exactly, a confidence boost maybe. But it's so important we don't forget the health stuff underneath all this. Which brings us back to the PCOS.
Yes, polycystic ovary syndrome. She got diagnosed back in her 20s, right?
Correct. And the info we have really stresses how much that affected her weight struggles. Things like insulin resistance, gaining weight quickly. It's not just about willpower.
No, there's a real physiological reason it's harder.
Absolutely. Hormones are out of balance, affecting metabolism, how your body stores fat. It can make losing weight through just diet and exercise incredibly difficult.
Which explains why she's advocated for the medical help.
Yeah, there's that quote. PCOS made it impossible to lose weight naturally. Mounjaro saved my life. That's pretty strong language.
It really highlights her perspective, doesn't it? That for her, it felt necessary. It's crucial for you listening to understand that weight isn't always simple calories in, calories out, especially with underlying conditions.
Definitely not. So much more complex.
Okay, so broadening out a bit. Her personal life has had its dramas too, very publicly.
Oh, yes. The engagement to James Argent, that was tumultuous. Very public breakup. His addiction issues played a part.
Yeah, that was rough. But now she's with Rami Halwash.
Yes, a businessman. They seem solid, planning a wedding for 2025, apparently.
All right, good for her.
And these personal things, the ups and downs, they always feed into the public story, don't they? Financially, she seems to be doing very well, too.
Yeah, the sources estimate her net worth around £2.5 million. TV work, fashion, endorsements.
She's built a successful brand, no doubt, the GC brand.
And she's still very much out there in the media. She has that weekly column in the Daily Star.
Yeah, often writing about body positivity, which is interesting given her own journey. Plus, regular appearances on Loose Women this morning.
Keeps her relevant, keeps her voice heard.
And it allows her to kind of manage the narrative around her transformation, doesn't it? And weigh in on those bigger conversations.
So looking at what she's up to now, 2024, and thinking ahead.
Well, new projects are mentioned. She launched a plus-size activewear line, GC Fitness. Seems like a smart move.
It fits the brand.
And she's still doing TV, like Gemma Collins, Diva Forever on ITVB. Sharing her life continues.
But, like we said, it's not all been positive feedback, has it? The criticism about the weight loss jabs being a quick fix.
No, that criticism is definitely out there. People have strong opinions.
How does she seem to handle that?
Her response, according to the sources, is pretty direct. Something like, everyone's journey is different. I'm finally healthy and happy.
Right. Focusing on her own experience. Very GC, really. Self-assured.
Exactly. And looking ahead to 2025, the goals mentioned are basically keep the weight off, stay healthy, and maybe expand the podcast into a talk show.
Ambitious. She doesn't sit still, does she?
Doesn't seem like it. No, we should probably quickly cover those key questions that often come up just to summarize for you listening.
Good idea. The FAQs.
Okay, so current UK clothing size. As of 2024, reported as size 14.
Right. PCOS diagnosis.
Yes, confirmed from her 20s, surgery.
Denies major weight loss surgery. Admits non-invasive things like cool sculpting, maybe fillers.
Correct, and her main weight loss methods.
Mounjaro injections, Pilates, and that high-protein, healthier diet.
That seems to cover the key points people ask about.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, what are the big takeaways from Gemma's whole journey, do you think?
Well, I think, first off, The undeniable impact of PCOS on her weight and her feeling that medical help was, for her, essential. That's a big one.
Yeah, the health context.
Second, that even with the medication playing a big part recently, it seems to be part of a wider approach now. Diet, exercise, the whole lifestyle thing.
That's not just the jab.
Apparently not, based on what she's saying now.
Yeah.
And thirdly, just her very Gemma Collins way of doing things. Unapologetic, embracing change, focusing on her health and happiness.
It definitely throws a spotlight on how complicated weight management can be, especially with health conditions mixed in. It's not always simple choices.
Far from it.
And Gemma's openness, whatever you think of her methods, it does get people talking about these things. Medical weight loss options are becoming much more visible.
They really are.
So maybe a final thought for you to mull over. Gemma chose medical intervention, and it got mixed reactions. What are your thoughts on these kinds of treatments becoming more mainstream? And why do you think people react so differently to them?
That's a really interesting question. The societal view on this is definitely complex.
It is. Lots to think about there. Gemma's story really brings those debates to the forefront.
It certainly does. And it's a conversation that's likely to keep going.
Definitely. Well, that's our deep dive into the world of the GC for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll catch you on the next one.